Hello, welcome everyone. We're going to give everyone just a few more minutes to get in. When webinars are large, it takes a couple of minutes for everyone to arrive. So we'll give it just another minute or two, but then we'll get started. And we're so excited to be celebrating with you. Hello, welcome everyone. We're going to get started in just one more minute. We're giving the webinar a little bit of time to let everyone in. Hello, welcome everyone. We're giving it just one more minute. I'm seeing people still come in. It takes a couple minutes with webinars to get everyone in. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Hello, thank you for joining us today. On behalf of the Chamber, Caitlin and I would like to welcome the Women's Leadership Program Class of 2020 and their support system and loved ones to today's Women's Leadership Program graduation ceremony. This is a note that this is being recorded and it will be available on YouTube afterwards. The mission of Women's Leadership Program is to empower women at all stages in their careers with the skills and the network that they need to excel in their own careers and to create the conditions for other women to thrive. Though women make up more than 50% of the modern workforce, we are still really underrepresented in leadership roles, and that's really across the board. In partnership with Simmons University, our sponsor Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts, the Chamber's Women's Network Advisory Board, and the nearly 1,000 Women's Leadership Program alumni, we aim to close that gap. And this was an extraordinary year. This was the 10th anniversary of the Women's Leadership Program, so we already knew it would be extraordinary. We had an updated curriculum for you. We had increased connections to the Women's Network Advisory Board, and we had new content for you to enjoy this year. But in addition to the planned changes this year, there were some unexpected ones too. And this cohort really demonstrated grit and adaptability in the face of the unexpected changes as we transitioned to the last portion of our program, virtual, in response to COVID-19. I know it was not easy for all of you to juggle work and life and caretaking, and I really commend each of you that joined one of our programs with a child on your lap or made other accommodations to make it happen. This was an extraordinary time, and you really rose to the challenge. When the world changed again as the killings of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and others put a much needed spotlight on anti-Black racism and inequity, you stepped up again, advocating for more inclusive practices in the cohort, at your organization, and in the region. And while I really wish we could celebrate in person, I'm so excited about this opportunity to celebrate you and your extraordinary accomplishments. And to get us started, I would like to welcome our first speaker today, Michelle Porton-Brown from Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts. Michelle, if you could turn your video on and join us. Blue Cross Blue Shield is our wonderful sponsor, and we could not offer this program without their support. Welcome, Michelle. Oh, Michelle, you're on mute.
Still on mute. Am I back? Am I back?
Yes, you're back.
Perfect. Thank you, Allison. I think the code word of the year is you're on mute, so forgive me for that. I want to thank you, Allison, and thank the entire Chamber team for this program. And I also want to acknowledge Caitlin Fisher for your work as Director of Leadership Initiatives. I'm so happy to be here to celebrate the Women's Leadership Program in the class of 2020. Blue Cross Blue Shield is really dedicated to developing, supporting, and advancing women leaders, and we're so pleased to be a sponsor of this program. As Allison mentioned, it's no secret that while 50% of women are in the workforce, we have a lot of headroom to make to really get the kind of equity and inclusion in women's leadership in business. But we know that through our sponsorship of this program, that we're helping with the Chamber to really close that gap. It makes us really proud to be part of this program. So first and foremost, congratulations to the class of 2020. Over the last 10 months, you've been hard at work in the programming that Allison described, both at Simmons University and through the esteemed programs offered by the Chamber. You've also had the chance, even remotely, to develop lifelong relationships with your cohort that I think will extend and support you throughout your career. And you've persevered in this program, really stayed focused when literally the world changed around you. I hope that you take all that you've learned, all that you've experienced, and all that you've overcome back to your organizations. And as you continue to build your career, I know that you will also be working hard to make your work environments in the city a more inclusive and equitable place to live and work. I also believe that the tools that you've gotten through this program will allow you to do what many of us strive to do throughout our careers, which is to lift as we carry on and grow throughout our careers. I really can't wait to see where you all go. I also want to give a special shout out and congratulations to my colleagues at Blue Cross Blue Shield who are part of this component. Ina Fedorova, I'm sorry for pronouncing your name a little bit awkwardly there. Amy and Carmen, really want to acknowledge your engagement in this program, and a special shout out to you. I also think it's really important that we acknowledge the supporters who help make it possible to give us time at this particular moment to watch children, to make a meal, to do any number of things. Our supporters, our spouses, our significant others, our family members, our friends who have been backing you, your managers as well. Really want to thank you for your efforts in making this cohort team so successful. I'm looking forward to seeing how you all thrive, and I hope that as you continue to move up your career ladder, that you will seize additional opportunities for leadership development offered through the Chamber and offered through the city. Really, only the sky is the limit. So Allison, thank you for the opportunity to welcome, and again, congratulations to the class of 2020.
Thank you, Michelle. Class of 2020, we have been on quite a journey together. At orientation, we practiced sharing our story with the artifact exercise. Though many of us, including me, were nervous about sharing our stories, it was such a powerful way to really see the expertise and the experience in the cohort. We then spent 2 days physically together and 2 half days virtually together at Simmons University, building a robust leadership toolkit that will help both us advance and excel in our careers and create the conditions for other women to thrive. We learned how to build a strategic network by mapping our existing ones, looking for gaps, and then closing those gaps by making connections within the cohort. We experienced firsthand the difficulty and stress of unspoken rules through a card game that, while conducted silently, really spoke volumes. Through Paula's challenge, we practiced navigating gendered expectations in the workplace by naming, networking, norming, and negotiating. We identified our default leadership styles, the perceived strengths and weaknesses of those styles, strategies for managing those perceptions, and then later, strategies for managing other team members who have different default leadership styles through a heart-stopping journey to survive the Arctic. And then we ended our time at Simmons learning a negotiations framework and practicing with a partner. You saw these leadership styles in action through 2 Women's Network forums, Pinnacle Awards, and behind the scenes of CBT Architects. And you built a network that will last you your careers with the cohort, the Women's Network Advisory Board, and alumni of the program through post-forum discussions and candid conversations. And now today, we end the program the same way that we started, together. Throughout this program, we have emphasized you as the experts. From sharing your artifact story at orientation to crowdsourcing your solutions to challenges through the Leadership Challenge dinners and the Peer Consult workshop, we knew that we were stronger and wiser together than separately. And that is why I'm thrilled to now turn things over to your class speakers, Nicole Corelli and Tyra Anderson Montina. Nicole and Tyra were nominated by their cohorts to represent them and to share a little bit about their experience today. Nicole Corelli, representing Cohort A, will speak first. I will introduce her and then introduce Tyra after Nicole has spoken. Nicole, please turn your video on and join me as I introduce you. Nicole Corelli is the head of national conferences for BNY Wealth Management, where she oversees a diverse portfolio of events and conferences across the firm's 5 US markets. Nicole's previous experiences include nonprofit fundraising, catering sales, sports marketing, and convening a group of over 2,000 women and girls at the 2008 Democratic National Convention. Welcome, Nicole.
Thanks, Allison. And as always, thank you for going the extra mile to make sure that I was prepared for today. Your organization and positivity has been a guiding light since the program started in September. Thanks also to you, Caitlin, and the Chamber of Commerce for bringing us together to close out the program. If you attended our last in-person workshop, you may remember that I raised my hand to say I enjoyed public speaking. Well, I guess that's come back to bite me, and I think I have all of you to blame. I thought about reusing my speech from that workshop, but outing myself as a Yankees fan to a few hundred Bostonians over Zoom somehow seemed more terrifying than just delivering a brand new speech. I was nervous to start the Women's Leadership Program last fall. I had a full plate at work, and I knew my travel schedule would make me miss a few programs right from the beginning. And if I'm being honest, I also had a bit of imposter syndrome. I wondered if my background and professional experience was worthy of being in the program. Thanks to the support of my manager, Christina, an alumna of the Women's Leadership Program herself, I was given the encouragement and flexibility I needed to experience the course and its content to the fullest. While I expected that the course content would be worthwhile, what I did not expect was how valuable developing a connection with my peer group would be. Navigating this program with a group of strangers was intimidating for me, but my group found a supportive rhythm that kept us connected. We challenged each other in our thinking. We discussed the ups and downs of our jobs. We questioned future career moves. We weren't afraid to talk politics, and we encouraged each other to grow. Chelsea, Jenny, Morgan, and Valerie, your friendship and mentorship has been invaluable to me. I look forward to continuing our group texts, and when the time is right, resuming our after-work get-togethers and brunch weekends. See, for me, the Women's Leadership Program gave our peer group a shared language, a common bond, but it also gave us the flexibility to foster our personal and professional growth outside the formal sessions and to create an experience that was uniquely ours. I will forever be grateful for this opportunity. As we look out to the next chapters of our personal and professional lives, there is a lot of uncertainty ahead, many of which Allison mentioned in her earlier remarks. We are at a societal crossroads, and the challenges many of us face feel crushing and overwhelming. And while some of us feel we have reached our capacity, I know that we as women, as a group, as a network, will continue to have more to give. Because it is during these times of unrest and injustice when we realize that our capacity to meet these challenges may in fact be limitless. The fight for justice and equality will be demanding, but I cannot think of a better group of women who will rise to that challenge. Thank you, be safe, be healthy, wear a mask, and remember to vote. And with that, Allison, I'll turn it back to you.
Thank you, Nicole. Wow, I got goosebumps listening to that. That was just amazing. Thank you so much. And I am glad that you were voluntold by your cohort because I thought that was amazing. Next up is Tyra Montina. Tyra, please join us by turning on your video as I introduce you. Tyra Montina is the site director of Europe's Greater Boston location. Tyra has been connecting young adults with opportunities to help them fulfill both their personal and their professional goals for over 15 years. Under her leadership of a program team of 60, Tyra has helped Europe Greater Boston grow by 50% across 3 sites. Welcome, Tyra.
Oh, thank you, Allison. In a world that wants you to whisper, I choose to yell. This quote by Lovey Ajayi is an affirmation that I aspire to live by, and it really speaks to my learnings from the WLP program. I'll admit, I'm a work in progress, so I like a lot of feedback. And relatively soon in this small group, when we were discussing challenges around self-advocacy, it was then I was told, you know, Tyra, if you're doing such a great job, you should tell someone. And I sat there and I thought, yeah, I should yell that and not whisper. And so I'm really honored to be in front of you today, sharing this screen, which I'm sure many of you have Zoom fatigue, to celebrate the Wonder Women in this cohort. And I do say Wonder Women because this is nothing short of heroic to finish this program in the midst of a pandemic. So I do want to say thank you to the Chamber, Allison, and team for making sure we can finish out this program virtually. When first meeting this cohort, I was really floored, definitely not surprised by the intelligence, the humor, the leadership, the warmth that emanated from this group. After peeling back a few layers of anxiety that first day, when we were presenting our artifacts, which felt like a public speaking course to me, but I digress. It was evident that there were 2 things that were going to exist in this program. 1, whispering will not be allowed. And 2, this cohort was made up of some amazing women with astounding journeys that led them to this point. And many, like myself, are really just aiming to be the boss ladies in their field, really looking to be better versions of themselves, whether it be a better negotiator, a better leader, a better networker, a better employee, a better person. And so as I reflect on my time, hands down, my favorite session was our in-person session at Simmons. Of course, in person, we did not know that that would be a nostalgic pastime, meeting in person. So that's probably why it was also my favorite time to convene. But what really came to light was the talent that was made up in this cohort. The networking activity that really highlighted the strengths that all the women had to share and how it could meet the needs of the same women in that group. It really changed the idea or perception I had about networking, about how it's really about meeting a need and sharing. Another powerful exercise in the session was when we discussed leadership styles. And it was in that moment I really realized, like, my style is a dynamic style. I don't have to worry about conforming to someone else's style or a dominant style or a male-dominated style. I am dynamic in my own style, which is really important. And that it's important as women that we don't whisper when it comes to the strengths that we do bring. There were so many conversations and discussions about how we use self-deprecating humor, or how we say we're sorry when we speak up in a meeting as if we're taking up too much space. Like, that whispering is no longer allowed. And so in a world that wants you to whisper, I choose to yell. I aspire to be an executive one day. And I usually whisper this tidbit to people. And so I realized when I was sharing this with my group, they quickly gave me the feedback that says, Tyra, when you're telling us about this, you're quick to tell us about your growth areas, the skills you don't have, how you want to be on a board, or you don't have fundraising experience. Stop it. Don't do that. And and I sat there for a second thinking, you're right. Here I am. I'm whispering again. I'm glossing over my own strengths. And so as I reflect on that and just thinking through how personally something shifted for me while in this program, because a year ago when I started, I had these personal goals around leadership and advocacy and confidence. None of my goals, of course, involved yelling, but I want to yell. I just don't want a seat at the table. I want to yell for 2 seats at the table. 1 seat for me, 1 seat for the woman that I'm going to bring with me, and I want my voice heard in complete surround sound. In the midst of a pandemic, civil unrest, worried if Black lives really do matter, I realized that I have something else to yell about. And I can't just use my own voice to yell for my own personal gain. It's about cultivating other equitable opportunities for others. And my passion is for other women, which I truly believe is the premise for this women's leadership program. And I can't, of course, let this moment pass without telling the Wonder Women of this cohort a few things, which is 1, congratulations. 2, you are already a better version of yourself. And 3, I hope you choose to use your voice to yell. I hope you yell for that well-deserved promotion, that well-deserved raise, that well-deserved job. I hope you yell to advocate for others. I hope you yell when you're doing something uncomfortable for the greater good. I hope you yell and say being a quiet ally is no longer acceptable. I hope you yell at your school board, policymakers, anyone when you notice that something is amiss. And of course, I hope you yell when you have that seat at the table when it's homogenous. I hope you yell and bring that point to light. Whether we like it or not, we are in the middle of making history as a nation. And so as we look back on this time, the question I always want to ask myself, and I'll ask of you, is what do you want to be said about you? Do you want it to be that you whispered, or did you choose to yell? So thank you and congratulations to all. Allison, back to you.
Thank you, Tyra. Wow, that was amazing. I'm feeling so pumped up and ready to go and ready to use my voice to advocate for all of you and for myself and for the people who are not yet a part of these kind of cohort-based programs but really need to be. So thank you so much, Tyra, and thank you to Nicole as well. As a class, you have overcome challenges that we really couldn't have even imagined at the start of this program in September when, as Tyra said, being in person was normal, not nostalgic. And it's exactly that level of grit, determination, adaptability, and innovativeness that we will need for us to continue our collective work of making Greater Boston the best place for women to work. The future is always uncertain, and you will use the skills and the networks that you built here to shape your organization and your region for the better. And the region is in excellent hands with you. We will now display the names of our graduates. Please join me in congratulating the Women's Leadership Program Class of 2020 by typing in a note of congratulations in the chat window as their names are displayed, and make sure it says that the note will go to all panelists and attendees so everyone can see it. I don't even want to tell you guys what I had to do to make that clip work, so I'm very proud that it did and relieved. The Women's Leadership Program is coming to a formal close. Your seat at the table, the one, Tyra, you talked about so well, at the Greater Boston Chamber of Commerce, it will always be here. As an alum of the leadership programs, you are always a part of our network, and we want to support you throughout your career no matter where it takes you. And you'll be welcome back at chamber programs at the member rate. For guidance on how to stay involved with the chamber, I turn things over now to Caitlin Fisher, Director of Leadership Initiatives, and Erica Smith, Director of Member Engagement. Caitlin and Erica, please turn on your videos and join us.
Okay, y'all, so I'm the one driving the tech in the background, so all of the issues belong to me, but that should not delay me from saying congratulations to the class of 2020. You are an inspiration to me. Those speeches were absolutely incredible. And as Allison mentioned, first, she deserves so much credit for this program and for the energy that she brings to it. So I hope in the chat you will also congratulate her for yet another year of stellar program management. So our vision for our portfolio of leadership development programs is to prepare and empower leaders at all stages in their careers so that they can lead Boston into a future where all can thrive. As the 10th anniversary of this class and the first class to ever experience virtual curriculum, you are already trailblazers. In my experience spearheading planning the Women's Leadership Program in partnership with Allison and the Women's Network Advisory Board, I have come to believe that it will take every one of us working together to make sure that Greater Boston is the best place for professional women to thrive. And you are all critical partners in that now. I urge you to advocate for yourself and to share the opportunity you had to go through this program by paying it forward. Share what you learned in the Women's Leadership Program with your manager, with the letter of support writer and nominator that sent you through this program by using the PowerPoint Allison sent you last week. This will give you and your sponsors the opportunity to discuss the next steps for you and think about who else might be benefiting from this program, as Tyra so well put. We are bringing others with us on this journey. In addition, nominate somebody in your network to join the Women's Leadership Program class of 2021 and continue the tradition of supporting women supporting other women. Nominations are open now. The curriculum is designed to be offered primarily virtually to maximize inclusivity and accessibility. And the Simmons content will be spread out throughout the year with asynchronous and synchronous content to really build the program in a new way. In addition, each peer group will have the opportunity to work on an individual action plan that folks can bring back learnings to their organization. And through your time with the Women's Leadership Program, though your time is coming to a close, it is your time with the Chamber is just beginning. As Allison highlighted, you're joining an alumni network of almost 1,000 women from different companies, industries, and roles, and the women's network is here for you. You've already gotten to experience some of the women's network programs, and we're so pleased that you were able to join us this year. And keep in mind that Women's Network, it's not a club that you need to join, but a place where you belong. It is the largest women's professional network in New England. And the Women's Network Advisory Board is the overseeing body of the network that has been part of your journey already, and we want you to continue to develop those relationships. As you'll remember, they were part of orientation, the post-forum discussions, and the candid conversations. And we want those connections to continue to flourish. If you have not done so already, please sign up for our newsletter so you can learn all about the different ways in which you can be involved in the Women's Network and the Chamber more broadly. And as you think about what you will bring back from this program, we hope that you'll use the frameworks, tools, and the networks, including the people that are here today, to advance your own careers and create the conditions for other women to thrive. So congratulations, we're so proud of you. I'm gonna hand it over to Erica.
Thank you, Caitlin. Again, congratulations to our 2020 Women's Leadership Program class. As an alum of the Women's Leadership Program, I couldn't be happier to join you for your graduation. Through this program, you got a taste of what the Chamber has to offer, and I hope you are excited to stay engaged. So I want to give you a bit of an overview of the other ways you can stay involved post-graduation. The mission of the Greater Boston Chamber of Commerce is to make Greater Boston the best place for all businesses and all people to thrive. We work towards this mission through a number of initiatives. First, we offer over 100 standalone events per year that range from the Women's Network Forums, which you experienced this year, to our Government Affairs Forums, where we feature local elected officials, our special events, such as our annual meeting, and our City Awake programming, which is geared towards our young professionals. We also research, develop, and advocate for public policies that contribute to the economic success of our region. Our six public policy priorities are transportation, taxes and good government, housing, healthcare, education, and climate readiness. In addition, we offer a portfolio of leadership development programs to give participants the skills and the networks that they need for their careers.
You have already experienced the Women's Leadership Program. However, we also offer Boston's Future Leaders for emerging leaders under the age of 40, All In for Advancement for organizations looking to shape their culture towards gender equity and inclusion, and a new transformational diversity, equity, and inclusion certificate program that was launched this year. Finally, we have an economic opportunity arm that ensures that all the work that we are doing benefits everybody. This arm has a specific focus on racial equity. So no matter what your interest or experience level, we have a seat at the table waiting for you. The best way to stay informed and participate is by subscribing to our newsletter, which Caitlin mentioned. Though you can always reach out to Allison, Caitlin, myself, or the absolutely fabulous Kelly True, your fellow alum, as we are here to support your chamber journey. I look forward to seeing what you all are going to do next. Thank you, Allison, for giving me this opportunity to say congratulations, and I turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Caitlin and Erica. So we do actually have one last special guest that I'm really excited about. In honor of the 10th anniversary of the Women's Leadership Program, Lieutenant Governor Karen Polito recorded a video to congratulate this year's class. Technology willing, we will play it now. If it does not render well, please let us know by sending us a message in the chat and we'll send a follow-up link instead. Let's go ahead and play it now.
Hi, this is Lieutenant Governor Karen Polito, and I'm so honored to share a little bit of time with you today. To celebrate the class of 2020. You did it. And I just wanted to have a conversation with you about you. And you're just amazing women, and you've chosen to take advantage of these opportunities offered by the Greater Boston Chamber and Simmons University. They just do an amazing job over there, and the CBT architects. And this was your choice. You know, we are living through extraordinary times, and this program, while you were thinking about doing it and you've done it and now you've come to this graduation moment, definitely felt different than what you perhaps envisioned, but you did it. And you're more equipped than ever to pursue the next steps in your life. So that's what I really wanted to just talk with you about for a few moments, about preparing for things in life. And I've always felt that coming through this experience, whether it be becoming a lawyer or managing my family's business or in public service, always wanting to over-prepare and being so knowledgeable about the topics and doing more reading, and just felt that I always had to do that, and it's the right approach. But I didn't necessarily see my male peers doing the same. And I'm sure that there are moments in time that you say you just feel you need to prepare more so for the moment, and that's okay. You need to prepare and you need to do the work and put in the, the effort to feel confident that you're in a good place. And then I would say that the other piece of this is we need to support each other, which is why I think this women coming together is really important. For us to be intentional around how we support each other. So when I think about that, I think about having a mentor. Now, you might have been able to meet someone over the course of these past few days that you've connected with. Maybe it's someone going through this program with you, or maybe it's someone at Simmons, or maybe it's a mentor from the Greater Boston Chamber that you've admired and finally you've met and to be able to have with you. Leave with that mentor as part of your toolkit. That relationship's really important, and it's one of your assets that you have to call back on should you decide you want to do something and you're just not sure. I would say another nugget is not only working and being prepared and feeling confident when you're pursuing different things, but not to be afraid. Just don't live with regrets. If you feel inside that there's something that you really want to do and you feel you're prepared and that you really want to give it a try, there's no failure in trying. You just try. If you fall short, you just try it again and figure out what you could do differently. But don't live with regret. Don't say, I wish I did that. And that starts early on in life. When I think about my daughter who's 14, I always encourage her, raise your hand. Like literally, when there's something you want to say in class, if there's a topic that you are excited about, that you know something about, say it. Don't hold back. I've been in situations, and perhaps you have too, where you feel like you want to contribute something to a conversation, but you might be in a room full of people that maybe you're not entirely familiar with, or maybe it is male dominated, and you say, maybe I'll just wait. And then the moment passes and you don't bring up what you could bring up at that moment. The point of that is our voices matter, our experiences matter. And when you bring in a diversity of opinion and you bring in different backgrounds and experiences and different voices to that table and to that conversation and to that analysis, the outcome is better. So that's just don't hold back. Whether it's big things about climbing to that next rung on the ladder and you're not sure about whether to do that, but you're really excited about it, reach out to your mentor. Talk to your family, obviously, about the support you need to take those next steps, but do it. Don't have regrets. And the other is just to be mindful of the things you need to do to keep yourself, healthy and well. Here we are in this pandemic trying to balance, for you, adding more tools to your toolkit and gaining this experience. But at home, you have children and families and parents and people around you that you're trying to balance their needs with and balance time with them. So that's always a challenge in life. And I would say that you're standing on a solid foundation. You have your education. You have this access to more opportunity. You have this network that you are connecting with these role models and mentors around you. And that I think about my toolkit, right? I think about the box of things that I carry with me. What's in that box that I can call upon to serve me at different moments in time? And then what can I add to that? What can I do to replenish it and keep it full? And just think about the foundation that you stand on. It's your education, it's your family and all the support you have at home, it's your friends and yes, your mentors and the people that you're coming to contact through this amazing program. And then on that foundation, you set your ladder. And on that ladder, you have rungs that you can certainly step up to. And there's too many instances and too many stories that we hear about women that have that foundation and they have that ladder set, but that broken rung on that ladder holds them back. And that's where we want to just reinforce that in order to get to that next level, you need to keep doing the things that you're doing and the purpose of your graduation. You need those friends and mentors to be able to say, okay, just take the step. We're all there with you. You can get there, and to not be afraid and just go for it. And the final piece is that we need you now more than ever. When you think about what we were talking about like 4 months ago, this amazing economy, we're talking about STEM education and access to opportunity and getting more women and communities of color plugged in to the jobs in our economy. We talk about equal pay for equal work, but I say we want more women to plug into jobs that pay more and access to education and to the great jobs that are part of our Massachusetts economy. They will come back. And when the businesses return in the new normal, they will always need talent, people with different backgrounds and experiences, hard workers, people that just want to be on the team and to make the difference. And that is you, and that is what we celebrate today. So congratulations, you worked it, you've earned it, you've made some new friends and contacts in the process, and I just want to say how proud I am of you, and maybe someday we'll meet along the way. Congratulations, enjoy where you're at, enjoy your friends and your family. I'm very proud of you. Hi,
That was really powerful. I could not agree more with the Lieutenant Governor that we need you. We need you to make the world that we envision, the world where there isn't that gap between men and women and people of color and white people at the top leadership. Our amazing faculty member at Simmons University, Dr. Stacy Blake Beard, she always ends her sessions with this African proverb that I'm going to borrow now to end this ceremony today. The proverb says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. I truly believe, and I see it reinforced in every session of Women's Leadership Program, that magic happens when women are together. And though Women's Leadership Program closes today, I hope that your commitment to supporting one another, to advocating for yourself, and to creating the conditions for other women to thrive in your work and your life never does. Let's take a moment now to recognize by writing in the chat window, and again, make sure the setting says to all attendees and panelists, make sure it has the attendees in there too. Please take a moment to recognize and to thank those who helped you to go far this year. The members of your cohort who shared advice or words of encouragement, those who nominated you, those who shifted around work commitments or caretaking duties to allow you to be fully present, and those who are joining you to support you today. Please type a message in the chat window of thanks. Make sure the setting says to all attendees and panelists, and I'll read a few out loud so that we can see what a huge difference it has made to have everyone here together today. So I see, go transform the world. Congratulations to you all. I see Wendy has said, Janet, Nancy, and Michelle equals the best peer group ever. Miss you ladies. Hey, other peer groups, are you gonna let that stand? I think I'm gonna need to see some more thanks in here. Amy says, thank you to Liz, Oksana, and Megan, and thank you to Allison and the GBCC team for such a wonderful experience. I learned so much from you. We are stronger together. From Pooja, I see thank you, Abby, Prudence, Devin, and Chloe. From Tracy, I see thanks to my steady crew. Looking forward to keeping in touch in person, hopefully. Yeah, I hope so too, Tracy. From Amy Snelling, I see thank you, Erica, Kate, Sarah, and Andrea. You are rock stars. Keep the chats coming, but I'll read this last one. Will be the last one I'll read out loud. Oh, actually, there's a few more. I'll read a few more out loud. From Lauren, big thanks to the GBCC team and all my fellow Wonder Women for this amazing experience. From Michelle, Wendy, Nancy, and Janet, you made all the difference this year. From Wendy, thank you to the best boss lady, Marie Chamblers, for nominating and supporting me. From Nicole, love my boss, Morgan, Valerie, Chelsea, and Jenny. From Megan, thank you to everyone in both cohorts and the women leading us, including Allison and Caitlin. And of course, my peer group, Amy, Oksana, and Liz. From Pooja, thank you, Allison, and the GBCC team for this great experience. From Vijay Lakshmi, thank you to GBCC and my peer group for the great support. To my dear colleagues at PEGA and Susan C., who's a recent alum, for nominating me. From Abby, thanks Pooja, Prudence, Chloe, and Devin. Keep the thanks coming, and I will stop reading them out loud, but keep them coming so everyone can see them. And with this concludes our graduation ceremony today. Class of 2020, we can't wait to see what you do next. And know that the Chamber is here to support you every step of the way in everything that you do. And thank you too for all of the supporters here today. We know that it wasn't easy for you to shift work and caretaking responsibilities around to allow your participant to participate fully. And we know that it wasn't necessarily easy to find the budget for the participation either. And we're so grateful that you invested in the leadership development. We truly believe that that's going to make such a big difference in strengthening our region. And we hope that you'll submit a nomination now that the nominations are open again for the class of 2021. Congratulations to the class of 2020. Please join us in the Zoom meeting link that you received for the reception that will start in just a few moments, just as soon as we're able to transition everything over. So thank you so much for joining us, and we'll sign off now.